In our studies of the Gospel of Mark, as we've gone through it, there have just been certain portions of these scriptures that have just come back to me. And I just meditate on them because they have such power and such meaning. One of those is in the 14th chapter of the Gospel of Mark, beginning in verse number 34. I take us back to the Garden of Gethsemane. And there in that garden, I think one of the most tremendous battles that have ever took place there in that garden. And I believe that the devil was calling in reinforcements because that was a battle line right there. And he knew that if he was going to defeat Jesus, that was the place, that was the time. And it's just such a powerful thing to even think about that moment of time. And this is what Mark tells us that's stated, that Jesus says, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful." Now, when I read that and I began to think about that, I thought, what does that look like as Jesus is saying, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful"? Because you have Jesus Christ, God, man. And so, yes, the human side would be speaking because Jesus is about to encounter so many physical, emotional things. I mean, not only the human torture that he's about to endure, but the being rejected by his friends and his loved ones, these men who have been his companions over these last years of ministry, to see them flee, to be accused by the leadership of the government, all of those things that as humans, these things hurt. You know this, that as humans, when we're dealing with the emotional things, rejection in life, these things hurt, and they'll stay in our heart and our soul for a long, long time. And a lot of times it takes a long time to work through a process of being delivered from these things. And Jesus is facing all of this. That's on the human side. But then we think about the deity side. And what is he seeing here? He says, "My soul is exceedingly sorrowful." Because he's about to encounter that time where God is going to lay all the sins of humanity upon him. And all of these things, in that moment of time, he's going to experience these things. And then to have his own Father, his own Heavenly Father, turn away from him. He says, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful. And you can only imagine that it would be, because he knows what's to come. And as I've said, this is the battleground. This is where the Lord will make his stand. But you see, we have to understand this could not have been easy. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.